Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Where you going? Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming for my class. So, today we're reading from Transcendental Diaries. Sorry, wrong file. Yeah, Transcendental Diaries, Chapter 8, Bombay and Calcutta. Om Jnanatimmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Put my phone on silent. So, Chapter 8, Bombay and Calcutta, January 13th, 1976. Today was Ekadasi, and Srila Prabhupada took his morning walk along the Ganga. Hundreds of pilgrims were taking a dawn bath there, having come for the Ganga Sagara Mela. Prabhupada explained that Sagara is the sea. So the Mela is a spiritual gathering on an island in the Ganga's estuary. Evidently, eager pilgrims had traveled from far and away as Rajasthan in the northwest. They camped along the banks of Mother Ganga, washing their few possessions as well as themselves in the holy waters, unmindful of the boats and other river traffic passing by. They sat contently on the pathways cooking breakfast and drying out their clothing. So this Ganga Sagara Mela even continues today. It happens once a year. On the banks of the Ganges. And we read that Prabhupada attended quite a few times, I think, when he was little. Noting the shining lota one man carried, Prabhupada remarked that even if the lota is so clean, we can understand how clean he must personally be. Prabhupada also recalled he and his mother had bathed in the same spot when he was a child. So Prabhupada also noting that the man's lota was shining, you know. I remember when we were little, Indian homes had lots of these lotas and thalis and lots of brass things. And I think like a weekend was the day to shine them, to polish them, you know. And I remember my granny used to put the brasso, and she should make my brothers and I to shine them with newspaper, so that bring out a nice shine, you know. Yeah. Because it was Ekadasi, we skipped breakfast and fasted until noon. But at lunchtime, the devotees inadvertently broke their Ekadasi vow because the cook accidentally put peas into the vegetables. No one noticed until too late. Fortunately, I arrived late for lunch because I had been massaging Srila Prabhupada. Just as I was about to eat, Jai Pataka Maharaj shouted at me, "Stop!" Although initially annoyed at being told not to eat, I was relieved when he pointed out the peas. Shamefaced, Tamal Krishna Maharaj went to Prabhupada to report what had happened and to find out what should be done. Srila Prabhupada told us we were all nonsense. He angrily rebuked us. Now you have to fast for 3 days. This shocked everyone. Yes, that is the procedure, he confirmed. Seeing the stunned look on our faces, he relented, but said that we should observe Ekadasi for the rest of the day and then again tomorrow on Dwadasi. So, Ekadasi fast is very important. I just want to read what Prabhupada said on Ekadasi, about Ekadasi. Sorry, I thought I had it on this laptop, but I don't. But Prabhupada in many classes pointed out that Ekadasi is very important fast. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry, I can't find it. Yeah, so Prabhupada, he made a point that Ekadasi is very important because we know the pastime of how Papurush is given 2 days and all sin resides in grain on those Ekadasi days. So if we consume the grain, then we're consuming the sins of the entire planet, I guess. So I know every morning when I wake up on Ekadasi day, I'm always hungry. I don't know why. It just happens like that. And I'm not fond of Ekadasi, but obviously, yes, we have to observe it. But somehow my mind just plays tricks with me that on Ekadasi day, I'm always hungry. So I don't know if it's just Krishna testing me or what. Yeah. So austerities we have to perform, and Ekadasi is one austerity. And also Prabhupada said that these days are meant for remembering the Lord more, chanting more, reading more, remembering the pastimes of the Lord more. So yeah. During the morning, Srila Prabhupada noticed I was limping because of a boil forming on my leg. Later, while talking with Jai Pataka Maharaj, he called me in and told me to show him the boil. Prabhupada was so thoughtful that he asked Jai Pachaka to go out and buy some medicine to heal the boil. I was somewhat embarrassed that a sannyasi should be running an errand on my behalf. But Prabhupada was more concerned to see that it was cured. Like a loving father, he always takes time to see that we are properly looked after, especially concerning our health. So, Prabhupada was very concerned about the devotee's health. And in one devotee recalled, this is from Kusha Prabhu. He said that he says, I was only able to cook for 3 days because I ended up having a health issue. So he was cooking for Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada had a sign in the kitchen that said, health is number 1, chanting is number 2, service is number 3, and then comes reading, in that order. It was handwritten by Srila Prabhupada. He had that made up when Jadharani had come to visit as she hadn't been taking care of her health. She was working really hard, and Srila Prabhupada made the point in what order of importance we were to take life seriously. We were so young and so foolish that we didn't know anything except what Srila Prabhupada taught us. So yes, we have to take care of our health. We can't think that, we're devotees and leave it to Krishna, because if we're sick and our health is not good, we don't take care of this body, then we can't perform service. I know personally I hate getting sick because it's miserable, right? And when you're sick, then you realize, what am I doing in this material body? Because the soul is youthful, right? But the body is getting old, we're getting diseased, getting sick. And when we neglect it, then it's miserable. So therefore we eat right. Even in modern medicine, the father of modern medicine, what's his name? Hippocrates, right? Yeah. He said that disease starts from the gut. And in Ayurveda, we also know that all diseases starts from the stomach. It starts from what we put in. So, therefore, if we follow Ayurvedic diet, it's very good. Nowadays, even we're eating very unhealthily. Lots of cooking oil is used, sunflower oil, right? Lots and lots. My mother loves the oil to be like floating on top. I don't know why, Yeah, but so we should start eating very healthily. Parir Bhavan and I always talk about this. Because as we're getting older, we find that, the body is not the same like it used to be. And then I always tell him, yes, we have to start eating properly. You have to start eating properly, Only fruit for breakfast, a salad at lunchtime, and then at supper, maybe some rice and sabji. But when we come to the temple in the weekends, that diet is blown out. Yeah. So health is important, otherwise we can't do service. And also, we want to have good health because when the time comes to leave this body, we don't want to leave miserably. We want the situation to be conducive for remembering Krishna, In the evening, Prabhupada spoke in Hindi and Bengali to the large crowd that packed the temple room. The darshan seemed especially sweet and enjoyable because Srila Prabhupada is the local Calcutta success story. Although Prabhupada always remains wholly transcendental in consciousness, he is fully familiar with the surroundings and cultural idiocracies of Bengal. There thus seemed a special rapport between him and the audience as he preached on the necessity of becoming Krishna conscious. January 14, 1976. Prabhupada took his walk along the Ganga again. Although it was early morning, hundreds of people lined the riverbank bathing, doing puja and washing clothes. Srila Prabhupada commented on the simplicity of village life and the importance of the Ganges. Many people have come to the Mela for spiritual purification, carrying only a few simple possessions. Everywhere dhotis and saris hung on fences or were spread out on the ground to dry, their owners sitting and squatting nearby, patiently waiting. Prabhupada remarked that even if they only have one piece of cloth, they will not fail to wash it every day. That is Vedic culture. Yes, so Prabhupada comments on the simplicity of village life. And I was thinking that to practice spiritual life, we've got to be simple. Simple living, higher thinking. Because if we have too much of opulence, it's difficult to be spiritual, because we're blinded by the opulence. I recall one time Bhakti Charu Maharaj was at one of his disciples' homes. And there was many of his disciples and well-wishers there. And he was speaking, and this was a very opulent home, wealthy family. And he made the comment that, he said, I don't know, he looked around and he said, I don't know how you're making spiritual progress living so opulently. And that got me thinking that this is true. We want, especially with us householders, we want so much of opulence. We want, but we want things, we get it, and then it's stashed away. Simple living. Like they say now, less is more. The less you have, the less you have to worry about. The more we can concentrate on spiritual life. So this is Vedic culture, simple living, simplicity. After breakfast prasadam, Prabhupada and I went to see an apartment at Park Circus. He is thinking of purchasing it for his son and daughter, who met us there. Prabhupada didn't say very much to them, and after a few minutes, we returned to the temple. About 12:30 p.m. during his massage, which he took sitting on a mat in a little patch of sunlight on the bathroom floor, Tamal Krishna Goswami came to report on a visit he and Jayapataka Swami had just made to the Sri Chaitanya Mat. They had talked with Madhava Maharaj, Prabhupada's godbrother, showing him Prabhupada's translation of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. They asked if Prabhupada's books could be displayed there during a current 5-day festival the Mat was holding. But Madhava Maharaj only gave them excuses why it was not possible. As they were leaving the Mat, Tamal Krishna and Jayapataka stopped to talk with the secretary. He appeared interested and friendly, and he inquired about the books. The secretary said that he felt they should follow our example in preaching, but were tied up too much in routine temple maintenance work. Looking over their advertising brochure, Prabhupada noted that the invited speakers included no sannyasis or spiritual personalities. They were simply government ministers and the like. Whereas for us, Srila Prabhupada's books are the main feature of our preaching work. He noted that after 40 years, the Gaudiya Math is still selling Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's books. He was critical that they have not been able to produce any literature of their own. He said that many of his godbrothers were envious of his success. He specifically named 3 of them. Prabhupada's comments show that he has learned not to expect anything from them. He told us we should avoid dealing with them. He said that rather than help them, they will simply attempt to spoil our own work. Yeah, so Prabhupada has written so many books. His disciples have also written so many books. And this is the process, Sankirtan, to give Krishna in the form of books. Right? This is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted, and this is what Prabhupada did. He wrote books in English and distributed around the world. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is what Prabhupada did. This is what we currently have to do. Distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books, distribution of the holy name. Because this is what the books teach, that we have to chant the holy name. Madhudushra Swami arrived from Australia in the afternoon. He is taking a break from management and intends to stay with Prabhupada for a few weeks to bathe in the nectar of his association. He reported that the Ratha Yatra in Melbourne was very successfully executed, although the devotees were disappointed that Srila Prabhupada could not attend. He showed Prabhupada some favorable press reports and told him that the Australian devotees are enthusiastically pushing forward the movement there. He also gave him a large donation of $10,000 for Guru Dakshin. Mrs. Lalita Bose, an influential woman and good friend to Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, visited Prabhupada in mid-evening. She is the niece of Netaji, Subhash Chandra Bose, an old school friend of Srila Prabhupada's, who became a national hero, especially in Bengal, during the agitation for Indian independence in the 1930s and 40s. He had advocated the use of force as a means to drive out the British and organized an independent Indian army based in Singapore during the Second World War with the intent of marching to India to liberate her. Mysteriously, he was killed in an air crash at the end of the war. Prabhupada said the real reason the British decided to quit India was because of increasingly violent opposition. It was not because of Gandhi's non-violent movement. When they understood that the police and army were no longer cooperative, they knew they could no longer rule. Mrs. Bose was talkative and loud, but respectful and willing to help where she could. She laughingly told Prabhupada that Netaji had organized an army to conquer India, and now Prabhupada had organized an army of Vaishnavas to conquer the world. Prabhupada requested her to assist with the ongoing visa problems his American disciples are having, preventing them from staying in India for extended periods. So yes, Prabhupada organized an army of Vaishnavas to conquer the world. Right? And back then, when Prabhupada was still around, the army was very strong, And yes, you could see them taking over the world. And when I watch videos of the devotees on Harinam in the old days when Prabhupada was still around, it was amazing. It was so ecstatic, And yes, they were like an army coming, like the battle of Kurukshetra taking place again. The Vaishnavas against the demonic mentality of everyone. And yeah, I pray that those days come back. We have an army of devotees going out and spreading the holy name of the Lord. Because this is what we have to do. Conquer the world with the holy name. After she left, Prabhupada called in Madhudvisha and Tamal Krishna Maharajas He asked them to organize a bus program throughout India for Sankirtan propagation and prasadam distribution. Mrs. Bose's comment about Mrs. Gandhi had encouraged him. He told them that if this is her true sentiment, then we should take advantage of the favorable climate immediately. Prabhupada was very encouraged and then wanted the devotees to go out and propagate Sankirtan and distribute prasadam. So, just a second. So Srila Prabhupada said so much on the importance of Sankirtan. And I wanted to read some stuff that he said, if I can find it. Yeah, so Prabhupada in one lecture on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, he says that whenever there is congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord, Gaura Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his incarnation as Lord Chaitanya, immediately appears and is worshipped by Sankirtan Yagya. So, this movement is started by Lord Chaitanya. And how else do we worship him? Sankirtan, yeah. Right? So we have to bring back the importance of Sankirtan. We have to. We have to make the Sunday programs like a festival again. I remember when we first joined, the Sunday programs was like Janmashtami. Devotees couldn't get in. The foyer was even full with people trying to get in. You know? And I don't know what's happening. Yeah, so we have to go out in full force, bring the people back. Why? Because Prabhupada is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Chaitanya inaugurated the easiest performance of Yagya, namely the Sankirtan Yagya. Right? And this chanting of the holy name, congregational chanting of the holy name, or the distribution of the holy name is so powerful. And we see when Lord Chaitanya went out and chanted, even the tigers and the deers started enjoying him on Sankirtan. You know? So we don't expect the tigers and deers and the animals to join us. But I didn't say it, huh? But the human beings will join us. And we experience that every time we go out on Harinam. You have experienced it as well, right? They will join you. Even if Rupa Manjari was at work the other day, my wife, and she was telling me that so she was at the reception area and she was she was speaking to someone and another co-worker walked past. So they know she's a devotee, and when this person sees her, he greets he says Hare Krishna, you know. So he greeted her Hare Krishna, and she said Hare Krishna back. And then there was another man, a white guy, who doesn't know anything, and then he asked, "Did you say Hare Krishna?" And then she said, "Yes." "Do you know the Hare Krishnas?" And he said, "No, but I just wanted to say Hare Krishna." So all of you go out there and just chant Hare Krishna. We experience it all the time. People will join, and the more we do it, the more beneficial it will be. You know, we have to make time. There's another lady that works with her, so I pick her up after work, right? And every time this lady sees me, a black lady. She works there. She's a tea lady there at the company. So when I'm driving to fetch Rupa Manjari, she's walking on the road going home. But when she sees me, she enthusiastically, she's waving both arms and she's shouting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You know, it's amazing. People don't know what Hare Krishna is, but once they hear it, the soul hears it. And then after that, they're doomed. Material life is diminishing, is finishing. Yeah. So yeah, please, let's go out on Sankirtan. We're doing it every Saturday mornings. We're planning to do it at least once a month in the evenings. So, yeah, let's make it happen. So despite the current state of national emergency and paranoia that ISKCON is a front for the CIA, Prabhupada is certain that the Krishna consciousness movement can change the face of the country if ISKCON's leading devotees can establish large-scale programs in India for at least 1 year. He is intent on beginning this program and talked immediately about how it should be organized. Tamal Krishna expressed some doubt about his own involvement because of his responsibilities in America. Madhudusha Swami, however, was excited about the scheme and promised to research the cost of vehicles. As the conversation became more relaxed and moved into other topics, Tamal Krishna Maharaj recalled how Prabhupada had personally obtained the London deities, Sri Sri Radha London Ishvara. Prabhupada had been invited to London to officially open the temple, but the deities that had been ordered had not arrived on time. Only a few days before the proposed installation date, the devotees spotted some Radha Krishna murtis in a shop window. Prabhupada immediately went to the shop and personally persuaded the owner, an Indian man, to let him have them. Even as he and the man spoke, Prabhupada ordered the devotees to carry their lordships into a waiting van, despite the man's hesitation. Later, Prabhupada settled everything very amicably with him. So does everyone know the pastime of how Prabhupada got the deities for Sri Sri London Ishvara deities? We'll read it. It's very nice. So, Tamal Krishna says, he's speaking now, he says, I came to England in September 1969 and Srila Prabhupada said that he would open the London temple in December. But at the time, there were no deities. We asked Srila Prabhupada, where are the deities? And he said, you have to arrange the deities. How could we arrange the deities? He wanted Radha Krishna deities, but we hardly knew what deities were. We were in tremendous anxiety and we're constantly searching for deities. We set up Janaki's phone number as a hotline so that anybody who had any information about the deities could call. The date was getting closer. There were no deities, and Prabhupada was determined to open the temple. Prabhupada even made the entire menu for the celebration feast, and he had me make an invitation card. On the card, I wrote that everybody was invited to come and eat prasadam. Prabhupada corrected me. He said, you don't eat prasadam, you respect prasadam. We printed the menu and invitation card, but still there were no deities. At that time, Sankirtan was very difficult. The police had stopped us on the streets, so we were having programs in many different homes of Hindu families. Every night, we would go for 3 or 4 hours and get 1 pound from each of them. It was excruciating to sit for hours in people's homes and at the end of the night come back with only 3 or 4 pounds. Finally, in October or November, someone called our deity hotline and said, you can find deities in a certain Hindu center. So Mukunda and I went to that place. The man we met there said, I do have some deities. We said, we'd like to see them. He said, they're over there. We didn't see anything. And then he said, under the cloth. The man went over to the cloth, pulled it up, and there was Radha London Ishvara. We were amazed to see these deities, and we immediately bowed down. The man said, for various reasons, we have no use for these deities. Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, we have to ask our spiritual master. So he says, we went outside, and from a phone booth, we immediately phoned Prabhupada at his furnished apartment in Baker Street next to Regent Park. Prabhupada was resting at the time, but when he woke up and heard the news, he said, take me there at once. Prabhupada took Shyamasundar, Mukunda, and me with him. By that time it was evening. Prabhupada sat down in the man's sitting room. The man said, no, so Swamiji, you are interested in our deities? Prabhupada said, where are you from? Where is your family from? Let me meet your wife. Let me meet your children. The man paraded his family before Prabhupada. I couldn't understand what Prabhupada was doing. As far as I could see, Prabhupada spent 30 to 45 minutes wasting time talking to the man. The man was eager to pull the cloth off again and show Prabhupada the deities, but Prabhupada had no interest in seeing the deities. Finally, the man said, look, are you interested or not? Prabhupada said, what is that? The man said, in the deities. Prabhupada said, let us see the deities. Then the man lifted the cloth up. Prabhupada's face was placid. He didn't react or respond. The man became anxious. Don't you want the deities? Your disciples said you were looking for deities. Don't you want these deities? Prabhupada was just looking at them. The man started to encourage Prabhupada. You should take these deities. You must take these deities. Prabhupada asked me, see if you can pick up this deity. I went over to Srimati Radharani, tilted her back and picked her up. I said, she's not that heavy. Then Prabhupada asked Shyamasundar, see if you can pick up the other deity. Shyamasundar picked him up and said, he's not that heavy. So Prabhupada said, okay, let's go. We picked up the deities and walked out of the house. And the man said, wait, Swamiji, wait. He wanted to discuss the price of the deities. But Prabhupada said, it's okay, they're not that heavy, we'll be all right. Prabhupada had us put the deities in our van. The man was there with his wife and children, and he was trying to beg Prabhupada to wait and discuss and negotiate some money for the deities. But we were all in the van, and Prabhupada said, drive. We drove 1 or 2 blocks, and then Prabhupada said, stop the car. We stopped, and Prabhupada said, now let me see the deities. Then he started to chant the Brahma Samhita to Sri Sri London Ishvara and said, Krishna has appeared. He was so happy. He was so pleased. Transcendental story, yeah? Nice. So these reflections on the past struggles to establish ISKCON reveal just a hint of his inner intimate and to us hidden relationship with their lordships. Srila Prabhupada's smiles and laughter at Tamal Krishna Maharaj's recollections made me wonder what kind of special leela he has with Sri Sri London Ishvara. Prabhupada said that they are the best in the society, the first large deities to be installed. Anyone been there? You've been there. And tell us something. Yeah. Well, hopefully one day we all can visit. What's the time? 20 past. We stop at 8:30. What time do we stop? 8:30. Okay. January 15th, 1976. For a change, Srila Prabhupada took his walk around the grounds of Calcutta's famous Victoria Memorial. Many people were out exercising and walking. Rather than speak, Prabhupada had us perform a gentle kirtan the entire time. Later in the morning, Prabhupada went to see another flat. And then just before massage time, he sent me to show two friends of his the place we saw yesterday. Tamal Krishna Maharaj gave Prabhupada his massage. It was a surprise to me that it was the first time for him. When I returned, he was still massaging Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada told Tamal to stop, insisting that I complete the massage, even though only his right leg remained to be done. Tamal had a luncheon appointment, and Prabhupada didn't want him to miss it. Madhudvishwa Swami, keen about Srila Prabhupada's suggestion last night to preach in India, spent a good part of the day finding out about obtaining a bus. Prabhupada also spoke with Madhudvishwa about the new building in New York. He asked him if he wanted to manage it. Madhudvishwa Swami liked the idea. He has been the GBC in charge of Australia and New Zealand since mid-1972, and he seems ready for a change. Later in the day, I came before Prabhupada wearing a new raw silk dhoti, which he immediately noticed. He asked me whether it was silk and how much it cost. Remembering that in Vrindavan, he had complimented me for getting a good dhoti for only 14 rupees. I thought he might not be happy that I had spent 175 on this one. However, he was quite pleased and remarked that silk is very nice. Anyone want to donate some silk dhotis to us? You can. We walked in Victoria, January 16th, 1976. We walked in Victoria Gardens again, but without an accompanying kirtan. Prabhupada said little, and we all chanted japa as we walked around the huge empty marble edifice. On the way out to the memorial grounds, we passed the police barracks just as an officer cantered out riding a magnificent thoroughbred. It must have been fully 17 hands high and beautifully groomed. As we admired the elegant creature, Srila Prabhupada commented, "The horse is the most beautiful animal." In surprise, Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked, "Not the cow, Srila Prabhupada?" "Cow is not beautiful," Prabhupada replied, matter-of-factly, as if we should have known. Harikesh laughed. For him it was deja vu. He told us that last year Prabhupada went out for his walk, saw a horse and made the same comment. His secretary had asked the same question about the cow and received the same reply, except it was Brahmananda Swami and not Tamal. So the horse is the most beautiful animal. This morning's newspaper carried a feature story on our Mayapur Chandradoya Mandir. After breakfast prasadam, Jayapataka Swami read the whole article to Prabhupada, noting a certain amount of cynicism on the part of the writer. The man had noticed the pujari offering bhoga to Sri Sri Radha Madhava in a deity room, warmed by a heater. The author questioned who the heater was for, since he had been told that everything we did was for God's pleasure and not our own. What would God want with a heater? He concluded that it must have been for the devotee's comfort. Prabhupada said that this is the atheistic mentality. He is compelled to question who it is for, whereas a devotee knows that it is for the Lord. If the deities can enjoy bhoga, why not heat? This inability to understand that God has senses is impersonalism. In their experience, personality means having limited senses. Therefore, God must be impersonal in order to be unlimited. Actually, he said, unlimited means you can eat 6 rasgullas, but Krishna can eat unlimited coconuts. Krishna has senses and he appreciates the heater. So yeah, this is the impersonalists. They don't believe that God has a form, He has senses. Even here, we have fans on the altar, right? Yeah, so who are the fans for? Not for the Pujari. For Radha and Krishna, for Radha Radhana. Yeah? So impersonalists, they don't, from this we can see, Prabhupada is saying that they don't understand that the deity is there, present. Krishna is there in the deity. And impersonalists will always criticize devotees. This is their mentality. Prabhupada told us today how to make bada by grinding up rice and urad dal after first soaking them, making a paste, spicing it with chopped green chili, salt and pepper, and then deeply frying small balls of it in hot ghee. An accompanying chutney can be made from the soft white flesh of a young coconut mixed with green chili, salt and lemon juice. He took a few baras made by Harikesh in the evening to gain strength for his night's translation work. So that's the end. Nice pastimes. Anyone want to comment on anything? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.